Yeah, it looks like we're recording. Hi, you guys. This is Julia Mills, and I am here with Dr. Angela Pascoe, chiropractor, and she's been working this business, has been involved for many years, is very, very successful. So I want her to be able to share kind of her story, her tips and tricks, because we've got many doctors who are getting on board, but they're really trying to figure out what's the best way, efficient way to implement this. So if you... Sorry, I'm getting lots of calls. A few questions that I had for Dr. Pascoe are, please share how you explain the LifeVantage products to your patients and how you incorporate the ordering process. What types of patients do you share this with? And how long do you recommend a new patient trial? You know, kind of like how do you share it with your patients? Who? And how do you kind of set the expectations? And then Dr. Pascoe will share hopefully a few patient experience stories. I mean, that's really what's remarkable about activation over supplementation. I mean, supplementation is important, but activation can produce some pretty remarkable results. So if there's a couple stories you can share with us, that would be really wonderful. And then any other key tips for using this in a clinic would really be great. Please share your background and your story and your thoughts with us. We really appreciate your time. I know you're really busy.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate you having me hop on here and recording it. We can utilize this then to share with people in the future. So I've been utilizing LifeVantage products. I wove them into my clinic March 10 years ago, March. So I was very skeptical, analytical when I first learned about this. I had to look at the science, and like a lot of people maybe watching this, you maybe had to do the same. But activation made so much sense to me 10 years ago versus supplementation. So when I am sharing this, I share this with every single patient I see. Not visit one, probably visit two. I want to first, they're here for chiropractic care, number one. So I want to establish that trust and really gather their history and their new patient, you know, that new patient visit on what products are going to best help them. Because starting people out on everything might not be the right thing for somebody that's been through chemo, radiation, that's really toxic. Sometimes we have to start people on lower and slower doses of things. So, but everybody that walks through my clinic will hear about this. And depending on, you know, a patient's history, you know, I'll, like I said, weave in, you know, specifically what I feel would be best to begin, because maybe we need to begin with gut health. So maybe we start with the probiotic, the prebiotic, we get the gut straight, and maybe only the nerve too, but everybody hears about it. In the beginning, 10 years ago, I was a year and a half into my chiropractic practice. So I had more time back then to sit down, share the ABC investigative report, answer questions. I don't today, 10 years, you know, I'm bouncing from room to room, adjusting. I have, you know, a pretty busy clinic. So what I did, we set up our receptionists as distributors as well. So if I have a patient interested, the receptionist will get them set up. And it's simple. You teach them how to enroll somebody on the subscription, and they'll enroll underneath me, but then I will place whoever helped me with that day, whether it was, you know, Julie or Christy, depending on who helped me that day, I'll place under them. So then the volume can help them as well. So it's kind of a indirect way, an indirect bonus, you could say, you know, for my reception staff to be, and for them to be actively involved in helping people along and on these products, getting them started on the products. I do carry, since I see patients, you know, I might do that follow-up within a week. If people get set up on their subscription with me in my clinic, I will, I've got an inventory of product. I'll give them that product and they'll be on what's called a borrowed list. So, and we explain that to them, that when their shipment comes, bring it in their next adjustment. Kind of, they'll give us back that product. And whether or not, however you want to run this in your clinic, if you want a credit card on file, I don't like to do that. But if you wanted to do that, you could do that as well in case they don't bring that product back. But I haven't had that happen very often. People, they're, you know, maybe I'm in the Midwest, people are more honest, I don't know. But depends on what you're comfortable doing in your clinic. But I know when I was ready to get started on these products and get activated, I wanted it that day. You know, I didn't want to wait 7 to 10 business days for my order to come in. And I want patients to start seeing results right away. But what I'll say, usually typically in visit 2, in that report of findings visit where I'm going over treatment plan and what's going to best help them, I'll explain to them, hey, how do you want to maximize your potential? Do you want to maximize relief, maximize reducing inflammation in your system? Here's the way we do it. The adjustment is incredibly powerful. That's number 1. But how do we, activate these pathways in your cells to lower the inflammation or the cellular stress? I use inflammation a lot because that is a huge thing our products do, is reduce that inflammatory process by turning on the body's own anti-inflammatory genes, right? We're revving those up. So I tell patients, you're not supplementing something you're deficient in or that you're low in. You're activating your own God-given potential to heal by turning on these pathways through our 3 protandems. And you don't want to overwhelm people, right? You can start to see the glazed over eyes when you overwhelm. So I explain activation versus supplementation. I explain reducing inflammation. I explain also the importance of glutathione and that glutathione boost we get at 4 months on Nerve 2. So I tell patients, I said, don't waste your money on one bottle. I will tell people that. I'll look them straight in the eye. I said, you've got to be willing to commit yourself 6 months to a year to see what this can do. And really, honestly, when you get activation, I want to be activated the rest of my life.
Oh,
and most patients.
Gene study. When I saw that gene study, when the neurologist showed me that, I've been in the pharmaceutical industry for 10 years, and she showed that I can turn off the genes. I've been in Alzheimer's market, cardiovascular market, cancer market, and I saw the gene study that I could turn that off. I thought, exactly, for the rest of my life, I am going to, I'll admit, Marilyn here, I am going to be on these products, and everyone I know and love will too. This is unbelievable.
Absolutely. So I think once patients get it, they know this is a lifetime of activation. But I do let them know, commit yourself 6 months to a year. And patients that have done that have done very, very well in my office. They have maximized results. I tell patients too, if I can't help you, I'm not going to string you along in my clinic either. If I can't help you, I'll find somebody better to help you. And people appreciate that. I know I can't help everybody under the sun, but if I can reduce the fire within with the adjustment, and then it's like icing on the cake with these products, we can get so much further faster. Healing takes time. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, yes, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but so many of the doctors that I work with are supplementing a lot. And when I go to functional medicine doctors myself, I'm giving lots of supplements. And yes, I do take additional supplements, vitamin D, vitamin C, selenium, zinc, I take those. But the foundation, when you look at the science and the power of activation over supplementation is just profound. It's really should be the center of what we're offering. And I'm just trying to see what have you done over the past 10 years in kind of making that distinction? How do you make that distinction? Because many doctors are already using supplements and trying to figure out, where does Protandim fit in, or where do our products fit in?
Yep. You hit the nail on the head, Julia. You said foundation. The foundation is activation. The foundation is turning on the Nerve 2, the Nerve 1, and the NAD genes. It's revving those up. That's the foundation. I've always, from day one in my practice, and I've been in practice 11 years. So I already had, a year and a half worth of, really just a probiotic and an omega. I didn't want a shelf. I didn't want to have a clinic that was full of, 500 different products. I wanted people coming in really mainly for just chiropractic, reasons and care. But I wanted to support them also with their, nutrition and supplementation. So activation is foundational. The 3 protandems, in my opinion, that's your foundation, because you're turning on the body's own ability. And we've got the science to back that up. And then not to mention the omega with the D, you're right. I'm also on D, zinc, selenium, some extras, especially during the time we're all living through. And then a probiotic. Gut health is of such great importance, that gut-brain connection. If we can get the gut straight, I tell patients all the time, 2 things. If we can get you sleeping through the night and pooping on a regular basis, that's half the battle is solved.
Truth. Amen.
So, yeah. So one really cool thing that I found in the beginning of practice, I had a patient, I'll share with you a few patient stories too. I had a patient struggling with IBS, We all see a lot of patients with inflammatory bowel conditions. I got her started on the Nerve 2 Protandim. Again, this is not, I never tell patients this is going to cure, treat, mitigate, or prevent anything. But if we can activate, if we can reduce the inflammation, put the fire out, and get the body functioning better, it's incredible what the body can do to heal itself. So this patient comes in, struggled for 30 years with IBS. I'd say about 3 to 6 months into taking only Nerve 2 Protandim, she goes, Doc, if you had one product for me to get started on, what would it be? I said Nerve 2 Protandim. No brainer, that's the one. So she ended up, it ended up resolving. Within 6 months, a year later, Cal, I don't have any issues with this IBS I struggled with for 30 years. So I found out later that there's a doctor in our company, Sveta Silverman, that went to a Nerve 2 conference in Japan, and she found out that Nerve 2 activation increases the small intestinal villi, the little hairs in our small intestine. Well, what does that do? That improves absorption, right? So our food isn't going directly through us. So I learned this probably about a year ago, and I got really excited because I knew that's what helped this patient. It wasn't just the reducing inflammation and putting the fire out. We were improving this patient's ability to absorb the nutrients they're consuming, whether they're consuming it, whether they're supplementing with it. So doctors that are supplementing, that are giving supplements in their office, kudos for the ones we need. But how great is our patient absorbing those supplements? So if we can help them absorb the current supplements you're already, recommending, you're going to see a better outcome.
Yeah.
So that's really neat story. So that patient, long story short, what happened to that patient, she actually ended up having a kidney stone episode. They did a CAT scan and they noticed she had pancreatic lesions. They did further studies. This patient ended up with pancreatic cancer stage 4, found by a kidney stone, CAT scan, by chance. Yeah. So this same patient is 4.5 years out, cancer free. Her medical doctor told her, looked her in the eyes 1.5 years after she was done with the chemo and the radiation. He looked her in the eyes and he said, I've never said this before. I don't know if I'll ever say it again, but you're cured of pancreatic cancer.
Oh my gosh.
Again, activate the body, you guys. And it's incredible what this will do. Another, so lots of stories like that with bowel conditions being improved, anxiety, depression, things of that sort as well. You get the gut right? Gut-brain connection, you guys. Get the gut straight. You can help with some of those mental health issues as well. So, and then a cousin of mine, she's my first cousin. She's a little, about a year older than I, so we're early 40s. Was diagnosed years ago with a stage 4 glioblastoma brain tumor. And she went the traditional route of treatment for that. And in the background, I'm researching, right? I'm only 3 years into this company. I'm researching, I'm deciding, I know this could help her. It's a matter of when she's ready. So I said, Jenny, I'm here when you're ready. Again, I'm not going to claim that this is going to cure, treat, prevent, mitigate what you have going on, but it can improve your quality of life. So she was diagnosed in 2013 and end of 2014, she ended up calling me and saying, the chemo is killing me. What else can I do? I said, well, let's try activation. So we did. 5 years later, she's still cancer free, you guys. I had to stop reading the research on glioblastomas because the recurrence was 98% in 3 years. Oh. I had to stop reading that. She's a statistic, out there that's unique. Her oncology nurse got started and got activated as well, because she said, I've never seen anybody survive this long.
I have the chills, but I have similar stories. We all have similar stories. We just are busy. We're working with people and we don't always share these stories, but they are very powerful. And we say we don't cure, treat, or mitigate disease, but this is why clinics should be activating their patients and telling them 3 to 6 months. Minimum. Oh, minimum. Yep.
Because that glutathione boost, docs that are watching this replay, that glutathione boost doesn't happen until 4 months in. That's our third peer-reviewed study proves that. 300% increase in glutathione at 4 months. That's huge. Yep. I was at a seminar just 2 weekends ago. A nutrition company, they have got a product that can boost our glutathione 30%, not 300. 30%. And that's about what I found before I learned about Protandim. Was I was finding maybe 20% boost, you know, to 30% boost, but nothing like this.
Yep.
And glutathione is so important for muscle healing, recovery, you know, detoxification of heavy metals. And how many of our patients have all those issues as they're walking through our doors? So those are, you know, a few of my, you know, testimonies. The Axio that we have, you guys, that is a brain drink for anybody struggling with trouble with focus and attention. So your ADD, your ADHD kids and adults, share that with them. It literally can calm the brain, but focus and turn it on, with the L-theanine in there to calm the brain, and then all the B vitamins and the other proprietary ingredients that can help with turning the brain on.
I've seen early cognitive decline, some dementia, some depression, kids getting better grades. I mean, just a lot of things happening with just that Axio, because that's NRF2 activation for the brain, right? Crosses a
Yes.
barrier. So it's, yeah, it's just more
Yes.
targeted. Yeah.
And sometimes with littler kids that can't swallow pills yet, you guys, where do we start? Where do we begin with them? I mean, the Axio is a great place to begin. And I will honestly, people that struggle with their sleep, the magnesium, the ingredients that are in Axio, the decaf, mix it with some chamomile tea. Do a red raspberry with some chamomile tea, drink it warm before bed. That can help improve quality of sleep as well. So keep that in mind. There's versatile, there's different ways we can play with the products we have, but the activation is foundation. So the Protandim is foundation, and everything else this company has done and continues to do impresses me, because from a clinical standpoint and from a doctor's standpoint, I'm going to these seminars, I'm hearing about all this stuff. I heard about NAD 8 months before our company had a product that activated NAD. And I knew when I was learning about it, this is something our company needs to do. It's right up our alley. And then we came out with NAD that boosts sirtuin, boosts sirtuin production, 100% in 24 hours. That's huge as well.
Space company. I mean, that's what attracted everyone I know from the medical, industry here to this, is the science, the peer-reviewed science, and the studies that we're doing, and the high quality that we're taking to market. So
absolutely,
it's that we have people that are just learning about it and trying to figure out how is it best to share with their patients. And I think this is going to be really helpful for them. Is there anything, I try to keep these as short as possible because people only have so much time. So is there any last thing, like, let's say, like you said, if they can only do one, and I say the same thing, it's NRF2 for really 6 months and then come back and okay. Anything else?
Absolutely. NRF2's foundation. The activation, just remember that, docs, or anybody watching this, activation's our foundation. Let's turn on our own God-given abilities, by these 3 Protandims to activate these powerful, powerful pathways. And then from there, meet people where they're at. If they've, show, and here's also what I'll have staff do when they're getting people set up, or I'm talking to people about these products. I'll show them the different packs. There's the ultimate pack. Where can you get started comfortably? Even from a financial standpoint, we got to meet people where they're at. There's the ultimate stack. Okay, you can't do that. Let's look at the vitality stack, adding the NAD to that. You can't do that either. How about the tri-synergizer with the ProBio then? Let's start, and depends on the patient's history and what they're struggling with. But meet them where they're at. If they have to pick one product, NRF2 Protandim. If they're very toxic and struggling with a very leaky gut, you may have to do the probiotic first, with the, incorporating in the prebiotic as well. But keep that in mind. But activation versus supplementation, that's the biggest takeaway, I think, for patients. And that's really where we need to be educating people, because they don't know much about activation. They know how to supplement. They've heard about it. They're being taught. But how do they turn on these pathways in their cells? That's what we get to teach people, and what we're at the forefront of teaching. So
honored to be working with you, Dr. Pascoe, people like you who really kind of look at science and want their best for their patients and take the time. You took the time to look at the research. You were skeptical. A lot of people are, but you dug in, you connected, and now the peers that you get to work with, pretty exciting.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Good.
Well, thanks for having me on, Julia. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Hope to see you soon.
Yep, you too.
All right. Take care. Thanks, Dr. Pascoe. Bye.
Bye.